Alright, y'all, so let's talk about it. Why'd I leave Kenan Advantage Group? What it is, what it was, and what it will be, man. My mama named me J Cash. Some of y'all know me as Dollar Water, man. It's been so long since I've made a video that, like, y'all are probably wondering, when did you get the KAG? It's actually been so long that the last time I uploaded a video on this channel, for real, talking about my trucking journey, that I was at Wilson Logistics, and that was in September of 2025 when I left there, so maybe even August. So I have not uploaded a video since I've been at TMC. I have not uploaded my time at Marten. I went to KAG. Now I'm back in Marten. That's how long it's been. But I'm actually going to start from the most recent experience, and then I'm going to work my way backwards to kind of, jog my memory a little bit. All right, but let's talk about KAG. Before I really get into the nitty gritty of what I've been through with this company, I got to fill y'all in on how this stuff works. So your mileage is going to vary if you decide to come on KAG long term, because this is a massive company. I know for sure they're the biggest in the United States, but correct me if I'm wrong, they also might be the biggest tanker company in all of North America, including Mexico, Canada, and whatever miscellaneous countries make this up. Now, I know some of y'all are 1099 boys, like work for your little mom and pop companies, this, that, and the third. And this ain't no shot to y'all, but I'm a mega carrier type of dude. Reason being, I don't like trying to figure out when I'm gonna get paid, how all of this stuff works. I got to chase my check down. I like to just get in the truck, do my pre-trip, do whatever it is I need to do, and the money just comes. Now, there's a lot of other reasons, why you out there on the road, your breakdowns, all of this stuff. And I know that for sure, no matter what happens, I'm never going to be left sitting when I'm at a big company, or so I thought. So KAG is like this massive company. They've got many divisions. I specifically work with SPG in Baytown, Texas, but I mean, they haul chemical, they haul fuel, they haul all different types of product, but they are a tanker company. As far as I know, they don't really haul any other type of trailer or product. So my mentality while I was sitting there working with Marten the first time around, I was a dedicated driver, and I'm like, I like this, but like my checks don't really fluctuate. You feel me? Like I pretty much can nail within about $50 how much I'm going to make each week, because I'm on a dedicated route. I do the same little 3-4 stops. I get paid a certain amount of miles. I know what I can do. And if there's no delays, nothing out of my control, this is what my check will be, right? And then on top of that, they had, with the dedicated role, $1,200 a week guarantee. So even if I did have like a bad week, which I had a couple where, I was sitting in repair shops or whatever, as long as I do what I'm supposed to do, they gonna pay me. So why leave something guaranteed and surefire like that to go with a company like KAG? My mentality was, if I'm gonna be doing this trucking stuff long term, I wanna try to find more specialization with my CDL, right? So like I told y'all in the beginning, I started with Wilson Logistics. I was a 1099 lease operator. I actually really enjoyed that job. It was a good truck. Dispatch worked for me well. We hauled prime freight, so there wasn't much for me to worry about, if I'm being honest. But just like with most people, especially my age group, I'm like, I feel like there's more out there for me to gain, right? And I'm gonna make a video about how I ended up leaving that company, but like I said, I'm gonna work back to the beginning. So ultimately decided to get into flatbedding, and then with flatbedding, I realized after about 6 months, this ain't for me long term. I actually left TMC in February, and my rotator cuff is still a little, you know what I mean? Tankers seem like the way to go. I mean, I talk to tankers all the time that are easily pulling between 120 to 140 a year, and like that sounds pretty sweet to me. I ain't never really made more than like 86K maybe at the most, so it sounded like a no-brainer to me, right? All right, so let's talk about the first steps. I actually tried to start with KAG 2 separate times, right? The first time I got all the way up pretty much to, hey, you're starting an orientation a couple days. And I ain't gonna lie, I got a little bit of cold feet. It wasn't really anything about the company specifically that was doing it to me, but it was like, I'm comfortable where I'm at. I got no complaints working over here at Marten Transport. So, I had to make that difficult call. And this was out of the Freeport terminal. After about another month, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna throw my pole back in the water. You know what I mean? And I reached back out, and I couldn't get in touch with that recruiter. I'm sure she was like, I'm not dealing with you. You made me go through all that process just to back out at the last minute. Got a new recruiter. Long story short, I ended up at the Baytown terminal, right? It seemed like a bad deal. Maybe with traffic on most days, it's like an hour outside of Houston. It's not a bad deal. Recruiting process, I ain't really got nothing to report on, man. You do your paperwork, you do this, that, and the third, and you're in there. So with SPG specifically, and it might even vary across the country, but I know at this terminal, if I'm not mistaken, it's 89 cents loaded, 57 cents empty. I was told anywhere between about 2,200 to 2,500 miles a week is pretty standard. And there's other accessorial pay that I don't really care about that. I want to know what the base is so I know to prepare for the worst, basically. Get everything lined up, get my orientation date, and this is where everything falls apart. Actually, I'm skipping ahead a little bit. The orientation part was actually not that bad. I did it in Beaumont, Texas. They give you a rental, right? Now, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Orientation actually wasn't that bad. So they give you a rental to the hotel in Beaumont, which is awesome because you get to keep the rental the whole time. It's not like get a rental to get you there, get it returned, get another rental to take you home. That whole time from the way there all the way to back home, they got me a rental. So I was able to do whatever I want, whenever I wanted outside of orientation the entire time you're there. You get a room to yourself, enjoy that a lot. They give you lunch. Breakfast is provided by the hotel. It's on you for dinner. Orientation pay for me, $190 a day. Low end, but I'm okay with that. It's brutal though. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not somebody that was like this A++ student, and it is very intense and dense. Nothing about it is intimidating per se. It's just a lot of information. They give you this massive workbook. You gotta complete these questions on your own time. You know, it's homework. Like, it really felt like this is the first like proper orientation I feel like I've been a part of where there's like homework. You actually gotta do reading. You actually gotta study for stuff, and that makes sense. You're hauling all these hazardous chemicals and everything. They want to make sure that you know how to read your manuals and everything. It made sense. Now, in Beaumont, you'll probably meet an individual by the name of Terry. I think he's a pastor outside of the stuff that he does as the safety coordinator. So obviously the way that he teaches class is done so in a way where, like, obviously this man knows his stuff. He's retired from the trucking industry, but as far as instructing class, like, he's a pretty solid instructor, right? Release from orientation was a little shaky. You know, at the end, we never really did no road tests or nothing, so we kind of did like this Smith training thing, and then after we got done, we were all kind of in the room like, are we good to go? You know, and I don't know. Usually when you leave orientation or stuff, you get some things like maybe a badge, a fuel card, something to indicate like, okay, you're on board, you're hired, whatever the case is. We didn't really get none of that, you know? So it was just like, okay, cool. I guess we're done. That was on a Friday, right? All I know is that I'm supposed to start training next week. But as far as where to go and when to report, nothing. No kind of communication on that. And I ain't like it's hard information to find. I know I'm out of the Baytown terminal, so it's just a matter of doing a quick Google search. But my nigga, when am I supposed to get here, right? So I'll reach out on Sunday kind of to the terminal manager. You know, I had met him. I'd already did my road test prior to orientation anyway, to try to figure out like, hey, my man, like, you know, what are we doing? So he basically tells me, hey, come here, be here Tuesday, 8 a.m. We'll get you lined up with your trainer or whatever. Now, I don't really have no insight on how the training portion goes because there's so many, even though we're all in Beaumont, like, people are going to terminals all across the country. Again, this is a massive company that owns thousands of like little tiny terminals. You feel me? So you work for KAG, but I'll get into that in a minute. So already like communication is a little shaky, you know, but I'm not really thinking too much of it. I don't know. I got the chance to meet the terminal manager. I ain't really get a feeling that he knew a whole lot, but at the end of the day, it's like, okay, you might be newer, you might be learning some things. You know, he was always in conference calls the whole time I was there talking with him. Like, it's no big deal. I know how this stuff goes. But I get there Tuesday morning. This is the first of many red flags, man. So the guy that's supposed to be our trainer for the next, I don't even know how long, because again, they didn't really tell us what the training process was finna be like. Before he introduces himself to us, before he asks for names, anything like that, he tells us this somber news. Not all of you are gonna make it. The ones that do make it, not all of you are going to get a truck. This shit is a dumpster fire. There's one or two ways to process this. It's two ways to process this shit, right? One part of me is like, maybe they just saying this to weed out the people that ain't meant for this. You know what I mean? I've definitely worked for jobs where they intentionally kind of overload you to see if you can handle it, because I can imagine that the tanker work is a very stressful job. I mean, you're hauling all types of hazardous chemicals. There's a million things that can go wrong. There's things that can go wrong that aren't even in your control. Can you handle it, right? But the real nigga in me was like, man, fuck this shit. I don't want nothing to do with this company, and I wish I had listened to that voice. But I'm like, you know what? I really want to get in the tanker. It was not hard, but it was difficult for me to find a tanker company that will do the training, hire me with no tanker experience. You feel me? Even if you just have a few months, most companies will hire you, but I have no tanker experience. and I'm in here and I already turned it down once. Let's see it through, my boy. Now, through the course of the day, this stuff keeps happening. It's some newer drivers that have been there. Hey, man, I've been here 6 weeks. I don't know what the hell's going on. They've been messing up my check. They haven't released me yet. I'm waiting on this, that, and the third. And I'm listening to these people and I'm like, man, like if I was in that position, y'all would not be here this long doing this. I'm talking to other drivers and they're like, bro, these people in the office don't know what they're doing. Like they got rid of everybody, I don't know, like 6 months before that. And I don't trust a single soul in that office. And that's even the guy that's training us who's been here for 12 years is telling me I don't trust none of them people. But still, I know how truckers are. They love to complain. They like to talk about all of the bad stuff that goes on. Nobody ever talks about the good things, how much they're getting paid. Are you even a decent person yourself? Are you doing what you're supposed to do? Like people will complain about not getting paid and how bad the people in the office are, but they don't tell you that they don't make it to their deliveries on time, that they're taking 14-hour break, that they have an alcohol problem. Like it'd be so many things. So it's like I kind of am listening and I'm like, you know, maybe it's not as bad as it seems, right? So I'm gonna tell you what the training process is. The training process is something that you can literally learn in about 30 minutes to an hour. And then you come here every single day and you do the same thing over and over and over again. And then you go home after a couple hours. Now, I ain't mad at it. Y'all are paying me $190 a day, whether I'm here for 30 minutes or I'm here for a full 8-hour workday. So if I only got to come for a couple hours, that's cool. One thing they not going to tell you is that you got to get to your own transportation there and back, which again, like understandable to an extent. I only know orientation the way that I've done it with my previous 3 companies. And for the most part, you're on site. So you don't have to worry about getting to wherever they're training you and getting back every single day. You feel me? They book you a room. They have a shuttle that will take you to where you get trained. The shuttle takes you back to the room. Here, I at least get to go home and be with my family every day, but I don't have a car personally. The family has a car, which means for me to get to the terminal, I gotta be dropped off. My family has to return back home. And then when I'm done, it could be 45 minutes. It could be a couple hours. They have to come back. So it's like that back and forth 4 times. And as I told y'all, on a normal traffic day, it might take almost an hour to get there. You feel me? So it's taking a lot of time out of my family's life to make this happen. You know, there's like miscellaneous days. Maybe I can get by taking the car, but my kids is in school, things like that. Like it just wasn't ideal. But again, I'm trying to see it through because I really want to do the tanker work. But that's the extent of the training. I mean, literally it's just like hook the hose up to the pump, hook the pump up to the other tank, and then do it in reverse. Like the onboarding process will make you think that this is just like the super dangerous, whatever the case, but it's literally hook the hose up, connect a couple of fittings, check the gaskets, turn this valve on, turn this valve. Like it's a very simple process. So the fact that we're coming here every day and we're just doing this over and over and over again, there's no compounding of training. We're not learning new information. It's just doing this repeatedly. Like it gave me that we don't have a training program. You feel me? Which in that case, cool. Put me in the truck with an instructor and let's get it cracking for both of our sakes, right? All right, cool. So we were told during onboarding, I'm gonna tell you, my recruiter said 2 weeks, onboarding said 4 weeks. I'm coming in here expecting 4 weeks, like on a truck with a trainer, right? So we do this thing that I'm telling you for 1 week, right? Then the following week, it's unclear if we need to come in or not. Basically, every day is just awaiting a phone call and saying whether you need to come in or not. You know, the dude that's training us is also still a driver. So occasionally they may need him to fill in the gaps with deliveries. It's like, okay, I understand that, right? Now you're making the $190 a day. That's about $950 a week. I do ride share. You know what I mean? So like I wasn't completely complaining about the pay because at the end of the day, it was about what I was making with Marten anyway. I get to have my weekends to myself. I'll do my ride share. Then if I get home early enough, I'll do a little bit of ride share to add like supplementary income because the $950 a week is just not going to cut it for somebody like me. I got a family of 4, my guy. But it was a little misleading on like how all this process was going to work, right? So we have 1 week of doing that. Then the following week, I maybe went in like 1 day during that week. Keep in mind, right, for figuring out how the training process works, sometimes I don't get these phone calls until 10 o'clock at night. You feel me? Again, I got a family of 4. I don't know how y'all operate, but I might be in bed sometimes. You feel me? So a lot of times it looks like me on Sunday morning hitting up the terminal manager like, yo, like what's going on? He says, hey, I'm working out the schedules. Okay, bet. And I might text like, hey, any update? No response. Call again, no response. 10 o'clock that night, hey, report 7 o'clock in the morning for whatever. That's how it goes during this whole process, like the whole 2-month process. Y'all will find out. So week 3 comes Sunday night. I get a call from the terminal manager. Hey, you're gonna be paired up with this driver. This is what y'all gonna be doing this week. Okay, cool, no problem. Now, to the credit of the dude that trained me, he was solid. You feel me? The issue was just in the logistics of everything. So I get there Monday. We waited all day at the place that we supposed to pick up from for them to tell us, actually, another carrier picked up this load and we don't have nothing for you. Okay, cool. No sweat. Not KAG's fault, not the plant's fault. Or maybe it is, but to my knowledge, it's just like something went wrong. Cool. Next day, all right, man, I'm going to show you how to do an air off, right? Which is not too much more complicated than the pump off that we have been doing time and time and time again. So instead of actually going to a customer to do a delivery, I come in, he shows me how to do an air off. Instead of hooking it up to a tank, you just hook it up to an air supply, but the process is pretty much the same. The little fittings and stuff, you don't deal with those. It's a little slightly different, but like it's not something that like I feel like I needed to do for a day. He showed me how to do it once. I did it once. He said, you feel comfortable with it? I said, yeah. He said, all right, well, that's pretty much it today. That was my second day of in-cab training. Third day of in-cab training. Pretty much the same process. We go to a different customer. We get there. They say, hey, this is what's going on. We get there. We on time. We wait 6 hours for them to tell us we ain't got it. So basically what we do is we drop the empty trailer after waiting here almost all day. They're going to have another driver pick it up once it's loaded, but we're just going to bobtail back to the terminal. So it's now day 3 of in-cab training where I haven't really done a fucking thing. Finally, we get some results on Thursday. We go back to the first customer we went to get loaded, and pretty much everything goes without a hitch, but again, it does take all day. Like in tanker, I don't know, I can't even tell you really how it works because I never really got hands-on experience, but my understanding is that a lot of this, it's a lot of waiting. You feel me? You wait in line, then you get loaded. That can take anywhere from 1 to 2 hours, depending on how the customer has stuff. And then after we get loaded there, you wait in another line while they do sample tests on the product and do all of this stuff. That can take another additional hour or two. So like, we might have got there, I don't know, 9 o'clock and left maybe 3-ish, 3:30, but we finally got product, feel me? I'm excited, but the thing with this specific role, specialty products, or maybe it's KAG or just the tanker world in general, for the most part, you don't touch much of anything, you feel me? So they do everything, like the whole loading process. All we do is pull up and line up with something that they use to load the trailer. We get out the truck. You wait in like this 1930s holding cell with no AC. It's hot as shit. It can fit maybe 3 people comfortably. It's 5 of us in there. Like I'm like, if this is gonna be it every day, you know, I'm not mad, but like this ain't a long-term thing for me. You feel what I'm saying? But we don't touch nothing. This is Thursday. Our delivery's Friday. We go up to, I think, Greenville, Texas or something like that. And then we do an air off, right? This is what he had just showed me Tuesday. Wasn't too complicated of a process. You block it off, you hook up to the customers. They supply everything, right? So you literally are just taking it from your stuff to their stuff. It's nothing that's too complicated. That's my first week of training. So in 5 total days, I really only had one, like all of that could have been done in a day if they didn't take so long loading this. Like we could have easily picked it up, and it's only like to Greenville, I want to say like maybe 5 hours. So it's not even like we did a whole lot of driving even with that. But, you know, I got a chance to feel how Surge feels and like all of this stuff, right? All right, now week 2 gets hella intense. Now this guy, he operates a little bit differently. He has a very special account. He delivers to Costco's within a certain region doing fuel additive deliveries. So it's completely different than everything else I've learned, and I'm learning on the fly. He uses a meter pump, right? Which is cool. It's like, okay, cool. I'm learning about a whole other type of pumping. At no point during the onboarding, orientation, or previous training have I ever heard of a metered pump. The problem with this is I spent a week doing something that I'll never do. Again, he's like one of few guys in the company that has this specific type of account. Everything else, 90% of it is going to be the pump off and the air off. So I'm now in my second week of training, being trained on something that I will probably never fucking do. But you know what? I'm like, it's cool. At least it's using the hoses and fittings that I will be using out there. So it's not a complete waste of time. It's just like, again, this is a very specific case and I'm spending a week doing this. But we work, like I ain't even mad at it. So we leave from Baytown. We pretty much deliver to Costco's all throughout Texas, going up to Dallas and then back down. And then we go to Florida. We go all the way down to Miami, come back up through Florida and then back to Baytown. That took 5 complete days of driving of work. It's pretty much nonstop. Once I'm done driving, he takes over. There's no stopping really. We might have stopped at a hotel, I think once or twice. For the most part, that's the cool part about this. Side note to everything else, they do at least sit you in hotels and they don't put you in no rinky dink. Like, it's nice hotels, decent breakfast, decent showers, room to yourself, privacy. I enjoyed that very much. But again, 2 weeks of training, not really learning anything about what I'll be doing, right? The next 2 weeks are just for all intents and purposes, I'm being ghosted by the company. So it's just a lot of like, hey, any update? I'm still working to get you released. I'm still working to get you released. Now, I'm not a terminal manager. I don't know what goes into releasing a motherfucker, but I feel like I've now done my part. Which, by the way, third week of training, Sunday night, 10 p.m., he says, hey, my man, I don't have any trainers from you. Do you feel comfortable being released? I told him no at first because I'm like, I ain't really got a chance to really. But I circled back and I'm like, you know what? Just throw me out there. If y'all not going to train me anyway, I'll figure it out. I know enough to be safe. That's on Monday. That Thursday, I finally get a call from the guy that's supposed to release me. Actually, I called him, and he is the safety coordinator. He's the guy in charge of releasing people, but he's also the same guy that does the onboarding, the 3-day onboarding in Beaumont. So he's like, I'm in the middle of class. I'll call you back after. I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I kind of figured it's like noon, right? It's after not hearing anything for 3 days. And anytime I talk to the terminal manager, it's pretty much like, hey, yeah, you need to talk to him. I finally get a call back Monday after calling and texting all weekend. Hey, man, I got your paperwork. I'm going to give you a call a little bit later. No call later. Calls Tuesday. Hey, man, I finally got your paperwork here. I'm working on getting you approved. Should be good to go by the end of the day. I think it took all the way to Friday. So we're now at the end of the second week where, again, I'm just no truck, no nothing, that I finally get released. Turns out the terminal manager didn't sign off on anything. So it's like, okay, cool. You're telling me, yeah, you need to get with this guy. He's the one in charge of releasing you, but you didn't do your part. Whatever. I get a call that Friday from the operations manager, which I thought was peculiar. I'm like, I've pretty much only been speaking with the terminal manager there as far as people that are on site at the terminal I work at. And they're like, hey, we're working on getting you a truck. We're going to send you up to Chicago to bring a truck back down here. By the time you get back, your truck should be ready. I ain't got no problem with that. You feel me? I've enjoyed being at home with my family for the last 2 months. And keep in mind, I started May 12th was my first day of onboarding. The time that I get the call to go up to Chicago is July 3rd. All right. So we're talking about 2 months where I haven't driven my truck yet. I haven't been given a truck. I have no timeline on getting my truck. So they're going to fly me up to Chicago. I'm going to pick up a truck. They'll provide hotels, my food expenses, all that'll be paid for. So I'm like, it's not a bad deal, right? The only problem is I don't have any information outside of that. All I got is a flight ticket, is going to Chicago, and that's it. So the morning that I'm supposed to leave for the flight, I called the operations manager like, hey, like, all I know is I'm supposed to go up here. Y'all haven't really told me anything. Where am I staying? How am I getting there? Where is the terminal? Who do I speak to? Oh, don't worry. I'm going to give you that information, right? I land, I call, I text. Takes a little minute to get a response. I do get a response. But at this point, it's probably like 3 o'clock. And I'm like, hey, like, what's up with that? Oh, my bad. Here's what it is, right? Get the address to where I need to go. Get the rental information. It's a lot of back and forth to get rental information, but I ain't gonna get into that. And then, what this is gonna look like for the next couple of days. All right, cool. So I go to where the truck is. It's supposed to be, hey, the keys are already in the truck. My man, go get the truck and then start your way down. Truck's locked. Get there Monday, no problem. I'll just come back in the morning. Everybody's gone at this point by the time I actually get to the terminal to get the truck. So I'll just check in at the hotel they booked for me. Come back the next morning. Hey, my name is Jay. I'm here to get a truck. We didn't know anything about that, sir. Okay, yeah, I was told that you guys knew what was going on. I was supposed to just get the truck and just go, basically. So the truck is actually being used by one of their drivers. Again, I ain't mad at them about it. You feel me? There's a truck here. Y'all got freight that needs to be pulled. Like, use your truck. I'm there Tuesday, 8 p.m. And I'm being told like, oh, when the driver gets back, we'll let you know. We'll send you on your way, right? He should be back maybe noon, right? So pretty much like every half hour, I'm checking in like, hey, driver back. Once it's about 1 o'clock, they're telling me, nah, he ain't made it back yet. Every time I would go ask them, and then I would walk the yard because I'm like, all of this stuff is just seeming fishy. I see the truck. It's here now. Nobody bothered to check in with nobody, I guess. So I'm like, I bet. Get in, do my pre-trip, log in on a little tablet situation, and I'm gonna get going, right? Nope. truck's locked. I let them know, hey man, the truck's here, but it's locked. They like, oh, okay. They calling the dude that had the truck. He already at home chilling, doing his thing. So he's got to bring the keys back, right? Oh, he'll be back in like 30 minutes. Don't worry about it. I keep doing my same little periodic check. Any update? What's going on? What's going on? Walk in the yard. It hits about, at this point, 3:30. Truck's unlocked. So I'm like, okay, cool. Guy came, no keys in the truck. What's going on? At this point, people are starting to leave for the day. It's an office job. And I'm like, hey man, the truck's here. It is now unlocked. So clearly whoever needed to bring the keys back has brought them back, but there's no keys in the truck. Oh man, yeah, I thought they told you. Like nobody told you that the truck, all that stuff is like in one ear out the other. I'm just trying to go, man. I've been sitting in y'all driver lounge all day. I'm just trying to ride. Long story short, I guess the dude put the keys where they normally go. I don't have access to whatever little cabinet this is or whatever, but I got the keys now. So I was like, okay, bet. Now, mind you, I've worked for a few companies now. Usually when I get a truck, whatever it is I need to operate this motherfucker is somewhere in here. If I look around hard enough, I'll find a fuel card. I'll find whatever it is I need. I don't see none of that. So I'll call my operation manager. Hey, I have the truck. I've now done my pre-trip and everything, but like, what do y'all want me to do about fuel? And at this point, everybody that works there is on their way out. I happen to catch someone on the way out, ask about a fuel card. He says, oh, you need to talk to this person, but he's gone for the day. Okay, cool. No problem. Nobody thought about how I was going to fuel this guy on the way down. Cool. Come back the next morning. Relatively simple process. I show up like, hey, my operation manager told me the day before, I'm going to reach out to them. The fuel card to be ready and activated when you get there. I get there. Of course, it's not activated and nobody knows what I'm talking about, but no worries. I have this fuel card. Here you go. I'm going to contact the activation department. It might take a couple hours to get activated, but you should be good to roll. This is Wednesday. I take off down the road. I don't think nothing of it. I didn't bother. This is my fault. I ain't bother where to get fuel at, but I just know I have a fuel card, right? So I'm on my way driving around. I'm getting to the point, okay, cool. I need some fuel, right? So I stop at a Love's first, which I'm like, it's probably Pilot J, but I'm at least stop at the Love's and then I'll figure it out, right? Can't fill up at Love's. That's what I'm being told as I call the person that I got the card from. It's only TA petrol. Okay, no problem. Petrol's like 2 hours from here. I've got enough fuel to get here. I ain't really tripping about it. Get to the petrol, card is not activated. I'm at the point now where like I'm at like maybe 1/8 of a tank. So it's like, I kind of need to get fuel. Call the lady for the activation. She's like, oh, that's weird. I don't know why it's not activating. You'll need to contact your operations manager. Contact my operations manager. She's like, oh, you just need a comm check. Okay, cool. Like, I don't have any of these things, but I know how this process works. You know, you go in, I just need the code, right? This is all happening maybe 5 o'clock, maybe 6, right? So I guess the way they do the thing, you contact your terminal manager. Oh, vital part of the story, I forgot. So you know, when I told y'all I was going to Chicago, the reason that the terminal manager wasn't the one that called me is because he got fired. I don't find out that my terminal manager got fired until I'm in the air on the way to Chicago. Nobody bothered to like let me know this person is no longer with the company, but cool. Anyway, back to the fuel situation. You contact the terminal manager. They contact whatever KAG support. They send an approval. KAG support gives me a code that goes on the comm check or whatever EFS, whatever it is, right? That whole process from about 6 o'clock when I'm like, okay, cool. Like, go ahead and send the approval to the time I got the approval took 5 hours. 5 hours. A whole lot of back and forth and calling. And it's like, I sent it and calling support and be like, hey, she says she sent it. Like, what's going on? We don't have it. Contacting her, not hearing a response for a couple hours. Also, in the midst of all this, it's like, well, I need a room for the night because it looks like I'm going to be staying here. Also, let her notice maybe like 6 o'clock. And it takes this whole time to get the room booked and to get me this code. I do finally get the code after 5 excruciating hours. Keep in mind that I'm in a day cab. So I'm not like in some thing where it's like, okay, cool. While they waiting, I'll just sleep in the back. You feel me? There is none of that. Now I've been through my fair share of struggle in life. I done slept in sedans, coupes. Like I've slept in some very uncomfortable positions. So I may do, but it's like hella uncomfortable, right? But I'm still stuck on the fact that it took 5 hours to book this room and to just send through the approval to get the code. But I finally get the code. I get my fuel. I'll go to where I'm sleeping for the night. The next day is a little bit of the same. Card is still not activated. It's taking hours to book the hotel room. It's like, hey, hit me up by this time. I should have your room. It usually takes about 4 or 5 hours, whatever. Friday comes around, the same situation, but at this point, I'm back in Baytown. I've met the team, introduced myself to the fleet managers, the dispatcher, all of this stuff. They give me the lowdown on how the next week is gonna go. I give them the keys to the day cab. All I know is that Monday, 10 a.m., I need to deliver whatever it is I'm delivering. And it's in Plaquemine, Louisiana, which is like, I don't know, a 6-hour drive or so. So I'm gonna either need to leave Saturday or Sunday, but all I know is like, okay, cool, just get it to where it needs to be delivered to Monday, 10 a.m. I go home, enjoy my time with my family. I do my thing. I leave Sunday morning. Card is still not activated. It's the weekend. Ain't nobody picking up for little old me to get this stuff figured out. Luckily enough, the guy that I did my second week of training with was there. He got me some fuel there on site. So I at least was able to get up to Plaquemine and back to Baytown to do my thing, right? Next day comes around and it's just more chaos. I get there for the delivery and I'm missing some paperwork. Now I'm there maybe like 9:30. I think I finally got the paperwork that I needed maybe around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, pretty much the end of the workday. And it's like, I'm calling like any update, calling any update. We need this, go back to the place, get that information. The whole time I'm just kind of left in the dark about like what's taking so long, how long is this going to take? Like, it's just a lot of stuff going on. Now at this point, I'm already like, bro, if it's going to be like this, like they could have these keys, but I'm trying to remain strong. I'm trying to remain positive because I don't want to just leave at the first sign of trouble. Even though I had a million red flags before this, I was one of those people. Anyway, we finally get it resolved. The whole unloading process took like 4 hours. Like I finally got the paperwork 4:30, gave it to them, whatever. I wait in line. That takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then another like 2.5 hours to actually do the unloading process. Keep in mind, this trailer that I have, I've never seen it, never heard of it, nothing like anything that I had spent the previous 2 weeks being trained on. Regardless of what type of pump I had been using, the trailer was the same standard trailer you'll see everywhere. This shit, I don't know where to hook up to it. I'm in a day cab. I don't have the compressor pump that I've been seeing over the last couple weeks, the PTO. Everything is completely different. And I tried calling all the support numbers they gave me. I contacted this number. They said, oh, we don't know what that is. You'll need to contact the terminal manager of the place you got it from. My nigga, when I called up there, the person that's like in charge of like the shop portion, basically, I called him. I'm like, hey man, you know, I called my people and they basically were like, we don't know how to help you with that. And they gave me your number to call. Don't you know this man hadn't even started with the company yet? He's like, oh yeah, no, I accepted the position, but I don't even start there for another 2 weeks. He was able to help as much as he could, but like the fact of the matter is, like, I was told like, oh yeah, this guy, he's super experienced. He knows exactly what to do. He's been with the company for years. And then he tells me I haven't even started yet. Whatever. So that happens. Cool. We got all that figured out. Now I'm on my way. Where did I deliver this at? It wasn't far off from Houston, right? And then I go back up supposed to go back up to Plaquemine and then deliver in Laredo, right? So that all took place on Monday. That's how my Monday ended. I left there. I got to the hotel. I'm getting to these hotels repeatedly, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning because of the amount of time it's taking to book me a fucking room. And so like my days are starting late. They're ending late because of this, whatever. I get up to Plaquemine. Same stuff is still going on. Still no fuel card. Still none of this. Finally, at the end of the day on Monday, after I get unloaded, hey, your card's finally activated. Mind you, I told you, I got this shit Wednesday. It took 5 whole days for me to get a fuel card activated. Ask any trucker out there how acceptable that is to be driving a truck with no fucking way to get fuel, other than to take this hours-long process to get a code and do all of that, right? Which I only had to do once, thankfully, but imagine if, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, bro, like, I've never worked with the company. It's like you get the keys to the truck, here's your fuel card activated, you feel me? And if you do need activation, it don't take that long. It's just a matter of sending an email. Okay, cool, card is on. Like, why is it taking 5 business days to get this taken care of? But whatever. The second little portion of the trip, aside from the delays and getting the hotel, I'm finally able to get fuel at least, so that's what's up. All of that portion pretty much goes cool. I get to Laredo Wednesday afternoon at maybe 4 p.m. And this was the final straw. I need y'all to hear me and hear me good. I get to the place that I'm delivering to. I'd actually been here before with a different company, so I know this is a little odd. I've only ever seen reefers and dry vans here. I've delivered produce to these people. They should not be receiving methyl chloride, to my knowledge, but maybe there's some other department or place that tankers go. I don't know, but this is very fishy to me from jump before I even get there. But I'm gonna find out because calling the support number there is like nobody there speaks English. I'm asking questions that aren't yes or no's, and she's just like yes or no. And I'm like, okay, I don't discriminate. It's like, okay, cool. I can't call this number for help. Now, if you know where Laredo is, it's right there on the Mexican border. Like it is sister city to Laredo, whatever state that's in Mexico. Like they are pretty much the same cities, just one part is United States, other part is Mexico. So that is all to paint the picture that trying to figure out what to do with this shit in a city like that is extremely difficult. I get there, they say, we can't accept this trailer. I'm like, okay, can I bring it back tomorrow? Can I just drop it somewhere and y'all figure out, no, we can't take this trailer. We don't have no way to unload this, transport this, nothing. Okay, now it's the same trailer that I had before, right? I completely understand that. What are they supposed to do with this? They clearly only got reefer dry van type products here. I don't even know how it got mixed up that I'm supposed to be here. No communication again from dispatch. I let them know these things. Hey, my man, I'm here with the product. They say they don't take it. Okay, well, go back. I tried different gates, talk to different people. Everybody's pretty much telling me the same thing. You can't drop this here. And then dispatch is always on some, let me call you back. And then they never call back. Like hours go by, I don't hear nothing. So I contact my operations manager again. Hey, can you book me a room? No response. Follow back up 9 o'clock. Hey, any update on that room? Trying to figure out what's going on. Call, text, no response. So I spend my Wednesday night in a Love's travel stop in a day cab in Laredo, Texas. Now, side note for people that don't know, I make music, so it's not like the biggest deal in the world. I'm gonna find a way to make a shitty experience doable. This gives me time to record. This gives me time to edit content. This gives me time to mix. This gives me time to like catch up on a lot of that stuff. But it's not ideal. It's basically record in day cab with my laptop that only holds a charge for maybe 30, 45 minutes, run inside to the McDonald's, use their Wi-Fi, charge my laptop up, mix the song for a little bit, back out to the truck, and I'm doing this all night. I'm trying to get sleep. I maybe could sleep for like an hour and a half or two at a time before I'm woken up because I'm uncomfortable as shit. And then it's like, okay, cool. I'll just work on music for a little more, repeat the process. Like I'm just doing this all night. First thing in the morning, I get a call from my dispatcher. Hey, nobody acknowledges that I just got ghosted the night before, but whatever. I got a room for you tonight. So I'm like, okay, bet. It's at a Red Roof. Y'all know about Red Roof, so I don't even need to get into that. Go back to the place and you should be able to drop it. I get back there. They're like, oh, hey, you again. Yeah, you still can't drop this here. I'm like, yeah, I kind of figured. But my dispatcher said she wanted to speak to you. She speaks to them. She literally asked the same exact questions I asked. And then they hand the phone back to me and she's off the phone. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, that's no way to like handle that shit. You feel me? I call back. No fucking answer. So I'm like, okay, so you wanted me to come here. You hadn't figured it out. You asked literally the same questions that you asked me to ask them yesterday, and then don't even have the like courtesy to let me know, hey, I just talked to these guys, blah, 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 blah. Go ahead and do this. Go ahead and do that, like nothing. So I'm again just sitting there waiting because I'm like, maybe they're handling it on the back end. I don't know, but I've got my room. I just got to wait to be able to check in because, you know, you can't check in until 3. I'm there first thing in the morning. After a while of no response, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna just go check in at the hotel. Now, every other hotel I book, I'll give them their credit. They always find me hotels that got plenty of parking for trucks, right? It's just a matter of sometimes I need to give them a license plate, whatever. This hotel, though, there is no hotel parking. And I know from looking at hotels in the area previously that there's not a lot of hotels that have hotel parking. And if they do, like they're limited in space. It's not like these massive Hiltons that I've been staying at. These are like Red Roof Inns. They are Baymonts. You know what I mean? Y'all have been to these places, I'm sure. So y'all know that like you can get a truck in there, but it ain't like it's supposed to be designated for massive vehicles. So I park in a, you know, it's a bit of a sketchy spot, but it's all good, right? So I do my thing. I'm chilling in the hotel room and I still don't know how the next day is going to go. And I'm praying that my truck is still where I left it. Friday comes around. I call early in the morning, no response. Finally, maybe 1 o'clock. It was actually 12:55 specifically. I call, get an answer. She's like, oh yeah, I had already told myself if it wasn't by 1 o'clock, I was just going to have you take it back to wherever you got it from. No, you wasn't. You are saying that because it's now 1 o'clock and you're like, oh shit, I completely forgot to follow up on this. But lo and behold, oh yeah, they actually did respond. They want you to drop it at this drop yard in Laredo. Okay, so I'm gonna just walk it back to Wednesday. My brain immediately, when the customer is telling me we don't take this kind of trailer, is okay, cool. Take me to a drop yard where I can leave this trailer and I can get back to y'all. That's my mind as a person who's not been with this company but has a little bit of driving experience and working with a company that I'm sure hasn't dealt with has dealt with this situation plenty of times. Okay, customer won't accept product. Find somewhere driver can drop trailer so we can get you on another load and we'll figure out how to get this to across the border. So I'm like, it literally took y'all 2 days. Now I don't know what's going on the back end. So again, benefit of the doubt. Maybe people are like, this is the address we were given, or maybe we have the wrong address or whatever, and they're trying to figure out how to get it delivered versus taking that route, because then you got to do the whole exchange of paperwork and like all this stuff, whatever. I give you the benefit of the doubt with that. But my mind was instantly to that was the solution 2 days ago before I ever left that Wednesday afternoon. Okay, fine. I drop it at the drop yard without a hitch. You know, dude there don't really speak too much English, but we're able to, you know, he got to understand and I got to understand, and I give him the paperwork. Cool. I am now free of this trailer. It's been a headache. This is now my 3rd consecutive day in Laredo, and I'm ready to get the fuck on back to Houston, right? I am so happy. I'm like, it's over with. I've already pretty much decided that like I'm done with the company after this. I'm going to give these people their keys, give them their equipment that I got from them, and I'm just gonna keep it pushing, right? Wouldn't it have it that not even 15 minutes after leaving there, somehow, some way, I think it's because of the roads there, I did hit, I ain't gonna say it was a bump, but it was definitely like a little patchy bit of road, you know, like maybe some repairs were being done and it hadn't been finished, but like the road, you know, it was a little shaky. So I remember I hit it, and in these day cabs, you feel a little bit of everything. It ain't like a regular truck that's like built like this day cab, like I'm, oh shit, as I'm going over it at maybe 30 miles an hour. That somehow jostled one of the hoses that's on the back of my truck loose. That hose get caught in between the dual tires, gets spun up, and the fucking primary air supply of the truck somehow gets torn and all of that, and I have a flat tire. Now this is like, I'm already like, I'm on the final stretch. I'll probably get back to Baytown like 11 o'clock. It's like 5 o'clock right now, and I have a flat, and it's Laredo, Texas. Everything is like kind of concentrated to like the border area. Everything outside of that is like stereotypical tumbleweed nothingness, no man's land out here, bro. And just to put it in perspective for you, it took a 10-hour reset for me to get all of this resolved. First, they said they couldn't do the repair, and then they could do the repair, and I'm contacting my operations manager. I'm so thankful today was the day she answered, because I'm sitting on the side of the road, broke down. I'm contacting them. They're giving me shit like, are you sure the tire is flat? I'm like, I mean, I'm looking at it. I've sent you pictures. Yes, the tire is flat. I need flat tire repair, but I also need somebody that can fix the pump. They come out. They're like, okay, you know, we'll fix the tire, but we can't fix the pump. But let's go back to the shop and see if we got a fitting for it. Then they're coming back. We ain't got a fitting for it. You're going to need to contact a vendor to see if they can get it fixed. You might need to get a tow back to the hotel, and then another tow to somewhere that can get it. All of this stuff, I'm like, bro, like this whole ordeal to find someone that can fix it takes 10 hours because again, Laredo, there's nothing out there. It's no man's land. They on the road repair side are doing their job to try to find people to fix it, and they're basically saying we're done for today and we're not going all the way out there because what the fuck. So I'm literally in the middle, and y'all know it's Texas, but it's also a heat wave going on. So it's already the heat index is like 105 or something like that. It's hot as shit. Now I can run the truck, so I'm cool on the inside, but just to paint the picture, like it's just a lot of, I'm not doing all that going on. Finally, somebody comes maybe like a little bit after midnight to come fix the air pump, and man, like this guy is my saving grace. Okay, turn the truck on. Oh, it's not working. Okay, hey, because I'm like kind of dozing off in between all the, hey, run the truck again, run the truck. Okay, it's still not working. Run. I'm like, bro, please, like, please, because it's pitch black out here. There's no street lights. It might be coyotes and all kind of shit that, like, I'm from the swamp, don't get me wrong, but like, I don't know how to deal with no fucking coyote, you feel me? So I'm just hoping to like, bro, please be able to fix this. Long story short, he does get it fixed. He's able to rig it to basically where the second air supply is able to power the first one through the trucks, external, whatever the fuck. There's a lot of rigging going on, but he does get it to work. It's 2 in the morning at this point. But at least I got me a room, right? I got my room. I go to the hotel, get me some rest. The next day I leave. I go to Baytown, and I'm just like, you know what? This has been more than a rough start. I can understand, like, you know, it taking a minute to get a driver up and rolling, but from May 12, when I first went to Beaumont to start orientation, and it is now July 11th. No, sorry, it's July 18th, and I still don't have a truck. Like, this is nuts. So I basically leave everything in the truck, you know, do my inspection, I take my photos, and I let them know, hey, I'm not coming back. And that is the short of why I love. There's so many other little pieces in there that are beyond frustrating, but that's basically it. It's highly unorganized company, up and down, from the Chicago terminal to the Baytown terminal to the safety coordinator to this, that, and the third. I would advise anybody out there. I can't speak for the company as a whole because, again, massive company with many little terminals all around that they bought up. But do yourself a favor. If you ever get an offer to work at KAG in Baytown, Texas, tell them politely. Actually, don't even be polite about it. Tell them kiss your ass, because it's not worth it. The headache that I've gone through, it's just not worth it. And I got all the warning signs in the world. When I first got there, like I said, the instructor said, like, this is some bullshit, and not all y'all gonna get trucks, and not all y'all gonna make it. I got drivers saying that they ain't been paid. I got drivers saying that I've been here 6 weeks waiting to get released, and they're coming to the terminal every single fucking day to be told that, like, we're still working on it. We're still working on it. I've never had these problems anywhere else. I'm right now sitting in a hotel room with Marten Transportation, right? Their orientation is like a day, maybe a day and a half if you've like got minimal experience. But the only reason that I'm in this hotel on this Saturday is because I was still at KAG, so I couldn't go do my drug screen in Laredo. So by the time I'm able to do so on Monday, it takes 2-3 business days for them to get the results. So that's the only reason that I'm personally still here. The earliest that I could do it, because of how my life is set up, was Monday afternoon. So I'm assuming it didn't leave until Tuesday. If it takes 3 business days, I know that they have the sample Friday because I was told that, but they don't have the results yet. So that's literally the only reason I'm here. Case in point, none of that is Martin's doing. The second that I get my drug screen complete, I will get my keys, I will get my fuel card, I will get everything that I need. It will get me on a load right away going down to Houston. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's never worked any other kind of way. This is now the 4th company I've worked for. When I got to KAG, I worked for Wilson Logistics, which hauls prime freight. I've worked for TMC, and I worked for Marten Transport. And now I'm here. You feel me? So I again, like, I have 3 years experience, so I'm not like this super tenured driver, but I'm damn sure not no rook. And it's just is a very unique process. Like, I've never dealt with this. Training usually goes how it goes. You know when you're training, you know who you're training with, what time to be with someone, how long the training is gonna last. And oh, the other thing is, every week there's an issue with payroll. You only get paid every 2 weeks. I've yet to get a check that I haven't had to have corrected this entire time. Actually, as we speak, that whole trip through Chicago, I didn't get paid for none of that yet. I contacted my operations manager. Hey, the check y'all sent me only has training pay for the previous week, but the whole week I'm going up to Chicago, back to Baytown, where is that? You know, no response yet. So I've called, I've texted, I've gotten text say, hey, I'm gonna call you back. Call again, no response, send text. I did get one text saying, hey, I sent it to payroll for approval. Okay, for how much? That's not enough information for me. I need to know what you sent so I could run it by what I know that I was supposed to be paid, and we can all be on the same page. I was told a second deposit was supposed to hit yesterday. It didn't hit. So I'm going to follow up on Monday. And if not, then they will be seeing me in person, and we'll handle it like that. That's no threat, but this is ridiculous. After all that, the least you can do is just make sure that your driver is paid properly. If you can't do nothing else right, click the button to get the guy paid. You know, like the fact that I went through all of that with the training pay when it's just $190 a day. Like, there's no miles to calculate. There's no whatever. It's like, is the person still employed actively? Yes. Give him 2 weeks, $190 per day. Send it. Like, in my mind, I don't work in payroll, so maybe there's a million things they got to do. Maybe it's a payroll person that does it for the entire North America. I don't know, but it shouldn't be hard to mess up. I've never had to do this with no other company. I might have had like one time with Wilson where a check was a little bit off and they let us know ahead of time, hey, this is what's going on because of this. There was an error in the process and I didn't have to reach out to anybody. You feel what I'm saying? But aside from that, I've never had anything missing. I've never been shorted. I've never been, don't do it. And that's the update, man. As always, man, y'all been real and I've been J Cash, man. Peace.